Hello, fans of Trevi's painting table. This, obviously, is Beastmen army that I'm going to be selling. It's been on a lot of my battle reports. If you just saw the last battle report I posted, 4,000 points. Obviously, that was this army, this whole army, all on the table there playing the game. So, that was pretty cool. Yeah, so this army I've had for quite a while. It's been in most of my Warhammer Fantasy battle reports. And, I started it originally as a sale army, so I was going to sell it, but I kept it for a little longer than I anticipated, and basically just grew it to this enormous size. But now I think it's time to let it go and give it to someone else who will get more use out of it. So here it is, Beastmen, awesome. It runs around 4,000 points, obviously, if you saw my my last battle report. And it runs around 180 models. I think it's a little over 180 models. So obviously it's a very large army, and it's a very high level, painted to a high level as well. All of the infantry in the army are painted to a level 3 standard, if you go by my standards of painting, which is from levels 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. So these guys are a very relatively high tabletop standard. And then the characters over here, all these guys up on this hill, are all level 5. So it is a very high level army, very nicely painted, and looks awesome on the tabletop. So yeah, let's dive into some units in this monstrosity of a horde. Over here we have some basic fast movers. We have 2 Tuskor chariots. Not much to say on those. They have some pretty sweet freehand in the base of the chariot there, and on these Tuskors. Well, not all, but most of these models have sort of woad war paint and things on them. So like you can see on the gores and things there, they have this this war paint. It's a very Celtic themed army, so lots of spirals and runes and things, and Celtic knots. All over the army, so you'll see that as a theme of the models. Over here we have 2. These are avatars of war, fellhounds. I like to use them as razor gores because I don't like the razor gore model, and these guys fit in quite nicely. Obviously, they are in GW models, so you might have trouble if you want to use them in a tournament or something. Although there are a couple non-GW models in this army. If you want to replace those with GW models, and you want to purchase the army, let me know, and we can work something out. Just shoot me a message. Over here we have 20 Ungor Raiders, just straight out little Ungors with short bows. And then next to them we have 30 Ungors with spears. 27 Ungors with spears. And then there's a unit filler in here, which is this. Oh, I picked up a bestigor with my camera. Oops. Which is this sort of Empire statue that's been desecrated and defiled by the Ungors because they're spiteful little beasties. So what I like to do with these guys, because I figure Ungors are probably not the most well-equipped or organized troops on the battlefield, I like to mix up these 2 units, so you get like a big unit of 50 Ungors, and that actually looks really nice because they're it's like a ragtag motley crew at that point, and they just look really disorganized, which is how the army should be because it's basically a barbarian horde. We got some cool conversions going on this little chieftain guy for this for the Ungor unit. He's got sort of a tribal chief sort of feel. He's got the cloak of a wolf pelt, and he's got this big old skull he's wearing on his head. And then there's some nice freehand on his banner for the unit, which looks really cool. Yeah, following that up for the rest of the infantry blocks, we have 1, 2, 3 units of gores. They all have additional hand weapons because I like additional hand weapons. I just like the offensive power it gives them. So yeah, not a heck of a lot to say there. These are actually a mix of old school and the newer models, last edition and this edition. Obviously you can't really tell the difference because the models are almost identical. The new models have a little higher detail quality, but it's not really noticeable from the tabletop. These guys also have some of the old school models mixed in there as well, but again, it's sort of hard to tell from the table. This is a unit of 24. We have another unit of 24, but these guys have a unit filler, which makes them 28. This is sort of an awesome, not safe for work sort of conversion. It's a Reaper sort of a accessory, which is this woman tied to a spit and gonna be roasted by the Beastmen, which I thought was really funny and basically too good to pass up in a Beastmen army. So that makes that unit about 28 models, and as you can see, they have a very large banner because they're the largest unit, which is cool. And then we have another unit of 24. These guys have the one of the chariot crewmen as their unit champion, which I think is an awesome little swap because that unit champion model is so cool. And then in the more elite part of the army, we have 2 units of 20 bestigors. This one is actually 16 bestigors, but it does have a unit filler in them. I love my unit fillers, so I think they add a lot to the army. This is sort of a commander-esque model with 2 big axes on this rock, sort of leading his troops from behind, like all good bestigors will do. Not a heck of a lot to say here. This is actually 3 generations of bestigors, however. We have the new plastic bestigors. There's the old last edition's metal bestigors. And then mixed in here, here's one in the front rank, we have really old school plastic bestigors, which are basically like, you know, the classic barbarian archetype with no shirt on, just a loincloth and a giant axe. So that's really cool. It's sort of a step back in time for that unit. And adds a lot of variety to the units. So there's 2 units of 20, like I said, and each one has command. As you can see, there's another banner with a lot of freehand and a lot of runes and things on it to make it spruce it up a little bit, which makes it look really cool. Then we have 8 Minotaurs. These 5 are assembled with additional hand weapons. These 3 are assembled with great weapons. When the army first came out, great weapons were the way to go for Minotaurs. You could make them strength 7 and they could charge in and do a bunch of damage. But in 8th edition, now that they're automatically striking last with great weapons, no matter if they charge or not, the strength 7 really isn't as good. So I assembled them with additional hand weapons because obviously you can use them as additional hand weapons, but a lot of times I'll just use them as a single hand weapon because it's a lot more cost effective to just run them with a single hand weapon. Sort of like the Ungors, I mix these 2 units up just because it adds some variety, and or you could run them separately, I guess, as with their equipment. These guys do not have command, so they're just straight up Minotaurs. Nothing really special going on there. Just like all the other models, they have a lot of like war paint and woad. This green sort of tattooing going on, which looks really cool. This guy has this is a kind of funny thing. This guy has a Celtic cross that's sort of been corrupted to look like the Star of Chaos on his back. I thought that was a fun little addition to the army there. And last but not least, there are a bunch of characters with this army. This is a Doombull. Like I said, these are all level 5, so very high quality models. This is the metal Doombull model. He's a little front heavy, but he looks really cool when he's on the table. He's got a lot of tattooing and things on his body. And his axe has these sweet runes going on it. And that is I just cannot pass up that model. That is such a cool model. Along with the Doombull, we have a Gorbull with a battle standard, or I guess you could run him with a great weapon or just a magic weapon, because I don't know, the model's really cool. As you can see, this is a paper banner that I made up for the model. Again, lots of freehand going on, lots of knot work and things on that. On the banner, and a lot of war paint and tattoos and things on this guy. This is my favorite model in the army. He just looks so epic. He's been remodeled, so he's standing up on this rock and sort of brandishing his banner in a very heroic fashion. Quick note, the top of the banner, this giant axe head, and this giant sword are actually from action figures. But the okay, my camera cut off a little bit there, so I'm not exactly sure where it stopped. But anyway, here we have two combat characters. These could be Wargors or Beast Lords or whatever you want to run them as. This is a Privateer Press model. It is a Tharn Ravager from the Circle of Orboros range. Let's put him up here so you can see a little better what he looks like. Again, this is a sweet model. I fell in love with this model as soon as I saw it. I knew I had to use it somewhere in this army. It's a little too small to be a Minotaur, so you got thrown on this 25mm base, and he has this big flowing cloak, but it actually fits in really well with a lot of the Gors. A lot of the Gors are running or have their legs together, and these the cloak just fits right over the base of most other infantry models, as you can see. Sort of fits right in there perfectly. So he can fit into units just fine, even with that big flowing cloak, and he looks really epic when he's in them. Like all of the character models, he's got a lot of war paint and tattoos, and then he's also got runes on his cloak here to make him stand out a little more. And he's got these runes on his axe as well, so he looks very cool. We also have just a standard Games Workshop Beast Lord slash Wargor, whatever you want to run him as. He was originally the model with two hand weapons, but I switched his shield for Archaon's shield here, added the skull in to make it a little more Beastmen-like. And he's also standing on this pile of skulls, so the foes that he's vanquished, he's taken their heads and he's given them up to Khorne, and he's standing heroically on them. So yeah, not a heck of a lot to say with that model as well. Just level 5, very nice job. And then over here we have a little sort of cabal of Shamans. These are from a couple different ranges. This guy in the middle is obviously a Games Workshop model. He's just a Bray Shaman. He looks very cool. He's got a little Bray staff with a skull on it. And then we have, this is a Crocodile Games War Gods of Egyptus model. It's, I don't remember where it's from. It's one of the goat-headed models. Forgive me that I don't remember exactly what it's called. But it's been converted up to be more Beastmen. It used to be, the model was originally bald. I added a lot of, with green stuff, I added a lot of sort of unkempt hair to make it look a little more feral. And gave us a giant skull on the back to sort of bulk it out a little bit. And just added a bunch of bits and things to make her look a little bit more Beastmen. She looked a little too civilized to begin with. Over here we have another War Gods of Egyptus model. This is a Bastille model, a Catwoman. This is sort of a model I had lying around, and I needed another Shaman. So she went up there, and she's standing on this rock to flesh her out a little bit, because she's standing on a 25mm base, but it's a very small model. But the model's awesome anyway. It's supposed to be sort of like a seductress character. And yeah, she fits in quite nicely, I think, when she's all painted up in the same color scheme as the rest of the army. And as an accessory for all of these little Shamans, there is a herdstone for the army. Give a nice 360 for that thing. This is basically just a giant block of foam with a bunch of bits and things stuck around it, but it looks very cool and works as a herdstone shard for the army, which is a magic item that Beastmen can take, which increases the magical potential of the force. So that's very cool. It's got this little brazier too. That's another War Gods of Egyptus model. I think that came with one of the characters. So yeah, there's that is. So there's the army. Like I said, just to recap, it runs around 180 models, 4,000 points, very comfortably. I think you could probably bump it up a little bit if you added some upgrades and things, but a very solid 4,000 points, and very solid level 3 painting for all of the infantry, level 5 for all of the characters. They look totally awesome. This army is absolutely stunning on the tabletop. As you can see, we've got this nice bright green color contrast with the sort of brown of all the models themselves, the skin and the fur and things like that. And it just looks great. So I'm going to take some still pictures of this army. I'm going to throw it up on eBay as a best offer sort of deal. So I'll throw a link to that in the video description. And if you want any other information on the army, please send me a message, and I will be happy to get back to you So there it is. Beastmen. Sweet.